Radegast. Once upon a time, two brothers, Božiš and Svatoslav, lived in North Moravia. The times were tough. Drought alternated with extreme winters, and the harvest grew ever more meagre with each passing year. Božiš had long ago left his farm to lay fallow, wandered around the countryside and around other farms, where often chickens and sometimes even lambs and sheep would go missing. Svatoslav, however, continued to battle with the unforgiving forces of nature. Every day, he headed out to the rocky field, weeded and carried water in buckets from a mountain stream so that he could harvest at least a little grain for his family. One day, an old pilgrim knocked on Svatoslav's door, saying he was hungry and tired, and asked if he could take a rest and have something to eat. Svatoslav barely had enough for himself, his wife and children, but his good heart commanded him to take in the pilgrim. That evening, therefore, he did not eat and gave his meagre portion to the guest. He even offered him a little honey, which he'd bought for the children from the forest, where he'd discovered a beehive. The cold night passed, and the pilgrim was saying his goodbye in the doorway. He thanked Svatoslav for the hospitality and said he wanted to repay the kindness. So at the next full moon, Svatoslav should go to a mountain that rises directly in the east. There the pilgrim would have a gift prepared for him. The evening came, and this time the blows of the pilgrim's walking stick sounded on Božišov's door. No one answered the door, but the pilgrim didn't give up, and in the end the grumpy Božiš opened the door. He asked Božiš for the same as he'd asked of Svatoslav yesterday evening. "What will you give me for it?" asked Božiš. The old man promised him a rich reward if he too would come to the peak of the mountain during the full moon. Božiš didn't even invite him in and told him he could sleep on the porch. And when Božiš got up the next morning, the pilgrim was already gone. The day of the full moon came. Because of his cares, Svatoslav had forgotten the pilgrim's words. His wife, however, had not. She made him head out to the top of the mountain because she said, who knows? Maybe the mysterious old man would keep his word. Towards the evening then, he headed out through the picturesque valley, and before he got to the top, night had fallen, with only the cool moonbeams interlacing the darkness. He didn't find anyone at the top of the hill. He was about to turn around to go back home when suddenly the mysterious pilgrim appeared after all. He tore off his cloak, and Svatoslav let out a gasp of reverential awe. Before him stood the powerful god Radegast in person. He motioned to Svatoslav to come closer. He showed him two bowls, one full of gold, the other full of black stones. The god called on him to choose his reward. The bowl full of gold would give him wealth, the bowl of rocks, knowledge. Svatoslav hesitated only briefly and chose the second option. Radegast told him that the bowl contains coal. He showed him where to find it and how to control metal with its help. Svatoslav thanked him and returned home. He'd just barely left when the grumpy Božiš arrived at the top of the hill. Radegast repeated everything with him. Only Božiš did not hesitate even a moment and chose the gold. It took him 2 days before he reached home, exhausted with the heavy bowl. Some time went by and Radegast's gifts brought their fruits. Svatoslav became a famous blacksmith whose tools made life easier for people, saving them much work. And from that day forward, his family fared well. On the contrary, the gold brought no good fortune to Božiš. He drowned his reason in mead, and what he didn't manage to drink away, his friends took from him. And so one day, even he, as a desperate beggar, knocked on his brother's door, asking to at least be able to spend the night on the porch. Svatoslav, however, invited him in, gave him food, and taught him the trade. Together with others, they then worshipped the generous god and named the hill where he'd given them gifts and where he'd lived, Radhošť. The Moravian Silesian region is today still the iron heart of the Czech Republic. Coal mining and metallurgy have defined the look of local cities, where a number of notable monuments show human ingenuity and remind us that honest work and skill are of greater worth than a pile of gold.